And we're back to one of the most bizarre ideas in modern politics: America buying Greenland. It sounds like satire, but it's a real story that just won't go away, no matter how many times it's dismissed as a punchline. Yes, that Greenland. The massive icy island that seems to want nothing to do with the rest of the world. A place of endless white, remote villages and a culture all its own, far removed from the hustle of global politics. In early 2025, President-elect Donald Trump revived his real estate fantasy, telling NBC News, "We'll get Greenland, 100%. The world blinked, but Trump doubled down, making it clear this wasn't just a passing comment. The rationale? Greenland is a strategic Arctic outpost, a giant unsinkable aircraft carrier, in a region where Russia and China are making moves. The Arctic is heating up, politically and literally, and Greenland is right at the center of it all. For Trump, this wasn't a nuanced geopolitical issue, it was the ultimate property deal. In his mind, it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, a chance to make history with a signature acquisition. He pitched it as a rescue mission for Greenlanders, claiming, "They're calling us, we're not calling them." With all the credibility of a magic 8-ball. The salesmanship was classic Trump, bold, brash, and utterly unconcerned with the details. The subtext? Greenland, a Danish territory, was being mismanaged, and only Trump could unlock its potential. He painted himself as the savior, the only leader with the vision to see Greenland's true value. But this wasn't just about military bases. When asked if he'd use force, Trump replied, "I never take military force off the table," and even threatened tariffs on Denmark if they refused. The message was clear: he was willing to play hardball. This was less diplomacy, more a clumsy power play, an aggressive declaration of intent. The art of the deal, but with global consequences, and international eyebrows raised. The renewed push for Greenland wasn't just a quirky hobby, it was a full-blown, headline-grabbing spectacle. Newsrooms buzzed, late-night hosts joked, and politicians scrambled to respond. And the world was watching, incredulous. What started as a wild idea was now a global conversation, one that no one could quite believe was happening again. So, how did Greenland and Denmark respond to this unsolicited offer from the United States to buy Greenland? The world watched, curious to see how these two nations would handle such an audacious proposal. Their answer came quickly, and it was a swift, unified, and unmistakable no. There was no hesitation, no room for negotiation, just a clear rejection that left no doubt about their position. Greenland's new Prime Minister, Jens Frederik Nielsen, delivered a firm rejection. He stated, "The United States won't get that. We do not belong to anyone else." His words were not just a response to the offer, but a declaration of Greenland's independence and pride. His predecessor, Mute B. Ejid, echoed the sentiment, reinforcing the message, "Greenland belongs to the people of Greenland. Our future is our business." This was more than politics. It was about identity and self-respect. Greenland's message was clear and powerful. Their sovereignty is not for sale, not at any price. The people stood united, proud of their heritage and determined to protect their land. In Copenhagen, Danish officials tried to stay diplomatic, but Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen openly criticized the American tone, calling it disrespectful. Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen stressed the importance of respecting sovereignty and international norms, making it clear that Greenland was not a commodity. For Trump, it was just another business deal, an opportunity to expand American territory. But for Greenland and Denmark, it was an existential threat, a challenge to their very sense of nationhood. The idea of buying a country is a relic of colonial thinking, one both nations firmly rejected. They saw it as outdated, even offensive, and made sure the world knew where they stood. Their response wasn't just political, it was a defense of self-determination, a stand for the right to shape their own future. Greenlanders and Danes alike rallied around the principle of autonomy. Greenland and Denmark looked America in the eye and said, "We are not a subsidiary of Trump Inc." Their message was received, loud and clear, and the world took notice of their unwavering resolve. After being told to get lost, the White House doubled down, turning diplomacy into a spectacle. In March 2025, a parade of U.S. officials descended on Greenland, including Second Lady Usha Vance and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. Greenland's then Prime Minister called the visit highly aggressive, likening it to a show of force. The U.S. spun it as a cultural exchange, but locals saw through it. Protests erupted in Nuuk, Greenland's capital. Vice President J.D. Vance visited a U.S. military base and accused Denmark of failing to protect Greenland, suggesting America could do better. the heavy-handed approach only fueled Greenlandic resistance. Instead of building bridges, the administration burned them, turning allies into skeptics. The so-called charm offensive was anything but charming. Greenlanders saw it for what it was, coercion, not partnership. For a fiercely autonomous people, that was never going to work. No Trump initiative is complete without the family brand, and the Greenland push was no exception. Donald Trump Jr. visited Greenland in January 2025, posting real estate-style photos and declaring, "Greenland is an incredible place. The people will benefit tremendously if and when it becomes part of our nation." The message, this wasn't a question, but an inevitability. President Trump amplified the campaign with "Make Greenland Great Again" slogans, blurring the line between national interest and family ambition. The optics were terrible. It looked less like serious policy and more like a reality show plot. Greenlanders saw their future reduced to a branding exercise, deeply insulting and profoundly unserious. The family's involvement only reinforced fears that Greenland was seen as a trophy, not a nation. Why all the fuss over a frozen island? What makes this icy expanse so valuable that nations are vying for a piece of it? The answer lies beneath the ice, hidden from view for millennia. Greenland is a geological treasure chest, rich in untapped resources. As climate change melts the ice, vast reserves of oil, copper, lithium, and rare earth minerals are being revealed, offering immense economic potential. Rare earths are essential for modern tech and green energy, crucial for everything from smartphones to electric vehicles. Right now, China dominates the supply, controlling the market. For the US, access to Greenland's resources would be a strategic game-changer. Geography matters too. Greenland sits at the crossroads of the Arctic, a pivotal location. Controlling new shipping routes as the ice recedes could reshape global trade. The US already has a military base there, a foothold in the region, but full control would cement its dominance in the Arctic. The Arctic is now a three-way contest. Russia is expanding militarily, China is investing heavily, and the US wants in. From Washington's perspective, Greenland is the queen on the chessboard, a critical piece in global strategy. The Trump administration's clumsy bid was a recognition of these high stakes, though poorly executed, but the approach, bluster and bravado, only made things worse, alienating potential allies. The Arctic's future is up for grabs, but Greenland isn't selling. The island's people have their own vision for their land. Amid all the geopolitical drama, what do actual Greenlanders think? A January 2025 poll found 85% opposed to joining the US. Nearly half saw Trump's interest as a direct threat. This isn't knee-jerk nationalism, it's a deep desire for self-determination. Greenland has its own parliament, language, and a unique Inuit culture. Becoming the 51st state, or a US territory, would be a massive step backward. Recent elections changed the government, but not the message sovereignty is non-negotiable. Greenlanders are open to business and investment, especially in mining and tourism, but they reject the idea that economic deals require surrendering their independence. They want partnership, not ownership. The answer to Trump's offer? Thanks, but no thanks. There's a subplot floating around, that Canada swooped in to make a deal with Greenland while the US blustered. It's a charming idea, but there's no evidence it happened. Similarly, talk of a US-Denmark trade war was mostly bluster. Tariffs were threatened, but never enacted. The truth? The US made a loud, embarrassing play for Greenland. Greenland and Denmark said no, and that was that. The episode strained US-European relations and hardened Greenland's resolve for independence. In the Arctic chess game, America's move was clumsy and counterproductive. Russia and China continued to advance their interests while the US fumbled. The Greenland saga isn't over, but this chapter was a spectacular own goal. Sometimes reality is stranger and sadder than fiction.